So here's how we make the tie-dye part of our back to school globe. You're gonna need 2 paper plates. Now, the gel shaving cream is not the best to use, but it's what we had in our house, so I grabbed it. If you can swing by the Dollar Tree and get like a cheap $1 thing of foam, or maybe you have a foam shaving cream at home, that works best, but you can make the gel work. The foam's gonna come out as a foam. The gel you have to turn into a foam. So let me show you how you turn the gel into a foam in case you're like me and I forgot to get it on the grocery list. Like, there's no shame in my game, guys. I forget things. You're just gonna take your card, because you need some sort of a debit card, credit card. This is a gift card. So you're just gonna kind of mix it up, smear it up, and it'll turn into a foam. So even if you don't have foam at home, you can use gel if it will foam up. I was really happy to find out that this foamed up. You just kind of smear it around your plate so that the top is flat-ish. I say flat-ish because it's shaving cream, guys. It's not gonna be totally flat, right? Flat-ish. Just gonna scrape that extra off and wipe this off. After you have your foam flat-ish, you're gonna take the colors of the earth. Now, if you do not want to do yours to be the colors of the earth, guess what? That's totally fine. Maybe you wanna make yours pink and purple. I don't care, it's your call. I do want mine to look like the earth, so I'm gonna take some acrylic paint, and I'm just gonna kind of set it any place I want to on my planet, because you know, we're making a globe. Get some blue and put it on there. Now, I'm using quite a bit of paint. I'm gonna grab some white and stick it on there. So now that I've got my green, my blue, and my white, I'm gonna take the back of a paintbrush and I'm gonna very gently mix these colors. Now, you do not want this to turn out to be like a teal. If you wanted it to be a teal, we would have mixed the colors ahead of time. But instead, you're gonna do zigzags back and forth, and you're gonna get these really cool marble look to your paint. So zigzags back and forth. What's happening is the paints are mixing in a line, but they're not mixing together. And then you're gonna take it and you're gonna make really big swirls. Really big swirls, because we don't want it to mix. Now, remember how I said that you needed to have 2 paper plates? Well, here's why. Take my paintbrush, wipe it off. Your second paper plate is gonna set right down on top of it. It's gonna match it. So I'm not turning it upside down. Straight down on top, set it down, press it down gently. This is kind of like a baby bunny or a baby chick. You don't want to smash the baby, okay? You're gonna be really gentle, very gentle. And when you pull it up, your artwork's gonna be on the bottom of a plate, okay? This plate right here, garbage. This plate right here, save. And what you'll do is you'll take that same card, you will scrape off the shaving cream, and it's gonna leave for you a super cool marbled background. Now, let's say you didn't get a lot of color on yours. Guess what? Use the same plate and do it again. Scrape all that off. Let it dry, and when we come back, you will get to cut your circle out and make your globe. I mean, how cool does that look? I love marbling. Once your plate is dry, you're actually going to cut out all the way around the corner of your circle. Look at that. Now, let's get our canvas and readjust our camera so that we can make a globe. So I have my canvas, I have my globe, and I have yellow, brown, black, and white paint. And these colors are completely editable. You may change what you want to do with it. I also have some tacky glue. Any kind of glue will work. as long as it's not like a school glue, you do want something that has a little bit of stick to it. You could even use a little bit of double-sided tape or maybe some duct tape on the back, but you do want to add a decent amount of glue. And then the placement of this, don't put it right in the center. Put it off to the left or right side and up just a little bit. You see, we're gonna be adding some words here, and you have to have your base of your globe over here. So you do want it up a little high on your canvas. You probably wanna hold it on for, 15 or 20 seconds until it's dry. All right, mine's about dry. So now what we're gonna do is we are going to add in our stand for our globe. This is one of those things you can change. If you want yours to be gold, change it to gold. If you want it to be black, change it to black. I'm gonna use a nice mix of yellow and brown. So mostly yellow with a little bit of brown. I'm gonna mix these two together. Perfect, good to go. I'm gonna wipe the extra paint off my brush because I don't need that much on there. And I'm gonna start with my shape. First of all, at the top up here, I'm gonna make a small half circle. And this half circle is not in the center of my globe because the globe does not spin top to bottom, it spins on an axis. So I'm just gonna make a small half circle with a small little square at the top. From there, I'm going to go directly opposite. So exactly across. If I take my clean paintbrush and I lay it right across, remember it's not up and down, but right across, I'm gonna do the same thing at the bottom. I'm gonna make my half circle. With a small square. Now, here's a little trick. If you still have your old paper plate or another clean paper plate, you can actually line up those two spots pretty well and see where your mark's gonna go. Otherwise, I'm just going to go from the top of this, keeping the same space all the way around my planet. Same brush. Now this is going to be right underneath the earth. So it's not going to be here, it's going to be over here in the middle. I'm going to make what would look almost like a triangle, and it's going to be a fat triangle. Paint that in. I'm then going to give it the base. My first line at the base is just going to be a straight line across. It's going to be almost as long as my globe is wide. My second one is going to go drop down a little bit, and it's going to be much bigger. Much bigger. Now I can take my paintbrush, I can go ahead and wash it off. Set it to the side. I'm gonna go with my itty bitty baby brush now. I'm gonna add some shadows. So with my brown paint, right underneath here, I'm gonna add a small line of brown. I'm just gonna take that brown and kind of rub it in until it almost becomes one with the yellow, pulling that color down towards the base just a little bit. I just realized that this side is smaller than that side, so I am gonna go back and change that real quick. That's the thing about painting, is sometimes you notice you do things after you do them and you have to go back and edit. Guys, I am not perfect. I am just like you, learning as I go, never stop learning. There we go, I like that better. All right, so straighten that line out, pull that color down a little bit, blend it in. I'm gonna put another line at the very bottom of my, oops, look what I did. Going too fast. At the very bottom of my globe. What I'm trying to do is just give it a little bit of a look like there's some depth to it. That it's got some shape to it. Wipe my brush off, there's a lot of paint on it. Wipe that brush off. I'm not going to wash it off, just wipe it off. Then I'm going to add a little bit on the sides, just a little bit, almost none. Wipe that brush off, get all that extra off. And I'm going to pull these lines in towards the middle. Wipe that brush off and I'm going to clean up this bottom edge right here and this top edge right there. So far so good. That base is looking great. I'm gonna do the same thing down here right along the bottom edge of my half circle. Now I am going to add a little bit of highlight. So with my white paint and a clean brush, I'm going to go right up here at the top. Just like I've got my shadows on the bottom, I'm going to add a little bit of light on the top. Keep that brush wiped off if it gets too much of that mustardy yellow color on it, or gold or whatever other color you're using. Even going to put a small line of it right up here on the top of this. I love how my globe is looking. Now, the next part is really up to you. How you want to personalize this to make this your own. Maybe this is your first year that you're going to go to school virtually. In our school system, that's what we call it, the virtual learner. So you could put like the year 2020, first time virtual student. Or maybe you're going to return to school. My children are going back to school. So they are returning school. So they are considered traditional learners. So you could say 2020 school year in school. However you want to label this, or you could just put 2020, or you could say welcome to school. You could say start of school. However you want to do this, it's really up to you. You can put any kind of words you want right here. What I like to do is I like to use black, but my black is really thick. I mean, it stands up. You can see how that's standing up. So what I do is take a little bit of water on my brush and I thin that black down a little bit so that it's a little bit easier to write with. So just thin your black down. And I am going to start with the words 2020. So I'm going to, oops, I got a little water drip on my brush, better wipe that off. So far I have my 2020 to 2021. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna zoom you in. I'm gonna make these words smaller. And if this bothers you to do it with a paintbrush, grab a Sharpie. Like I've got a Sharpie right here. And I'm gonna write a year, to remember. So this project was pretty fun and simple. Make sure when you're finished that you sign your name at the bottom. Don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube and join our Facebook page. You can always post your finished products on our Facebook page so that the teachers can see it. We'd always love to see what you guys are making. And don't forget, stay creative, stay safe, and stay kind. I'll see you guys on my next video. Enjoy your school year.